Cape Town harbor hummed with the sound of gulls and clattering dishes. Kidow stood on the balcony, his tail flicking in rhythmic, impatient arcs as he watched the activity below. Beside him, Luna sat motionless, methodically grooming her paws. The peace shattered the moment a waiter set a fresh tray of fish on a nearby harborside table. Kidow vanished from the carrier in a blur of motion. He launched himself across the polished wood, his claws finding no purchase. He slammed into an espresso cup, sending dark liquid splashing into a bowl of sugar, and skidded face first into a crate of snookfish. The cafe owner roared, swinging a broom wildly as Kidow scrambled up a wooden piling, his paws slick with brine. He clung to the top, watching the scene unfold below. The owner was shouting, customers were standing, and the floor was a ruin of broken ceramic and spilled sugar. Luna sat a few feet away, batting innocently at a passing pigeon, her expression entirely detached from the mess. Kidow shook his head, sending droplets of fish oil flying, and prepared for his next move. By the next morning, the harbor was a distant memory, replaced by the winding roads leading to Boulder's Beach. The rental car idled while the humans leaned over a map, their attention entirely diverted from the center console. Kidow stood on the armrest, his gaze locked on the silver gear stick. He reached out, hooked a claw into the release, and threw his weight against it. The gear clicked into neutral. The car lurched forward. Gravity took over. It rolled 3 feet before the bumper connected with the side of a parked ice cream truck. The impact was soft but decisive. A dozen waffle cones tumbled from the truck service window, shattering on the pavement. Scoops of melting vanilla and strawberry slid across the road, forming a thick, sticky barrier that blocked the path. The humans jumped, shouting in frustration as they scrambled out to inspect the damage. Kidow and Luna did not wait for the confrontation to escalate. They slipped through the cracked window, paws landing silently on the sun-baked asphalt. They sprinted toward the distant sound of calling penguins, leaving the arguments and the melting ice cream behind them in the heat. The penguin colony was a cacophony of braying calls and shuffling feet. Hundreds of birds waddled across the dunes, seemingly oblivious to the 2 intruders darting through the tall grass. Kidow watched them, his head tilting in imitation of their rhythmic gait. He stepped out from the brush, puffing his chest, and tried to adopt their stiff-legged waddle. He took 3 steps, his back paws tangled, and he pitched forward into a shallow, rock-lined tide pool. The splash was loud and ungraceful. He went under, his head hitting the soft silt at the bottom. He scrambled to his feet, eyes blinking against the salt, his orange fur plastered to his frame in heavy, dripping clumps. The smell of rotting kelp clung to him instantly, a pungent reminder of his failure. Luna sat on a dry ledge nearby, watching him with an unimpressed stare. Kidow shook himself, spraying brackish water onto the sand, but the moisture remained trapped in his thick coat. He climbed onto a sun-warmed rock, his movements heavy and sluggish. As the heat beat down on them, he looked at his paws, and then at the vast, uncaring colony. Their luck was fraying at the edges, and the island felt smaller by the second. The final afternoon on Signal Hill offered a spread of cured meat that Kidow found impossible to ignore. He watched from the tall grass as the hikers turned their backs, leaving a bag of biltong unguarded on the checkered fabric. He crept forward, belly low to the dirt, and lunged. His teeth sank into the plastic, but as he pivoted to bolt, the corner snagged on his collar. The bag ripped with a sharp, ragged sound. Strips of dried meat showered across the grass, fluttering like bait before a crowd of hungry eyes. From the dense brush nearby, a heavy rustling began. Then, the first baboon emerged, its jaw set and its gaze locked onto the scattered feast. Kidow spun, but the torn plastic wrapped around him, dragging behind like a heavy tail. He took 3 panicked leaps, his claws raking the dry soil, but he slipped and tumbled into a discarded picnic blanket. The fabric bunched around him, pinning his front legs and turning him into a frantic, rolling bundle. Behind him, the baboons hit the ground in a synchronized thud, their aggressive chattering rising in volume. Luna sprinted from the shade, bit firmly into his tether, and dragged him toward the safety of the trees. As the first large primate reached the site of the feast, the car door slammed shut, sealing out the noise of the hill. Kidow collapsed onto the back seat, his chest heaving with every breath. He was a mess of dried salt, coarse sand, and a single, stubborn strip of biltong still clinging to his left ear. Luna sat beside him, busily working to smooth down her ruffled fur. Her movements slow and deliberate, the adrenaline began to drain away, replaced by a heavy, bone-deep exhaustion. Outside, the Atlantic Ocean stretched toward the horizon, its surface catching the final, bruised light of the day. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky in shades of deep orange and violet. They watched in silence, their ears still twitching at the distant sounds of the city. There was no more energy left for mischief, no more urge to hunt or explore. The rental vehicle felt like an island of calm in a week, defined by near misses and frantic escapes. Kidow shook his head, dislodging the last piece of meat, and let out a long, shuddering sigh. Cape Town faded into the rearview mirror as the engine turned over. They were battered, stained by the geography of their journey, and entirely ready for the quiet of the journey home.